Cornerstone is going to be a children's activity and wellness app. Currently, right now, we have it as a channel. So we have a YouTube channel and we are on Facebook, and we're doing free kids monthly challenges. They're 7-day challenges that children can join in on. So we do a variety of classes, including yoga, art classes. We do some fitness classes. We do meditations, breathing exercises. We do some science classes. We do healthy eating activities and ways to inform them to be really thoughtful and mindful about really taking in all the yummy flavors of food and really enjoying the whole process of eating. We have activities that also discuss about the environment, taking care of the environment. They're nature learning activities, so they can watch these videos, kind of develop a sense of gratitude and appreciation for our planet, and then also a bit of a sense of a duty to want to care for it. And a lot of our meditations, we mix breathing exercises and meditations with these activities to really kind of help cement some of the concepts that are being learned and to make it overall a really fun and engaging experience for the kids to dive into and learn in a way that perhaps they aren't used to learning, especially in public school type settings. And there's always the theme of teaching kids to do something that they absolutely love each and every day, and how important that is for us to really enjoy our lives and enjoy each day. The mission is multifaceted. So we want to focus on helping children be able to have access to tools, just inner tools that we all have, to be able to regulate their emotions, to be able to build resilience, especially kids that are in need of these tools. We want to be able to provide them with it so that they have access to it whenever they need to, and that they can be able to use these tools whenever they need to. So building emotional resilience, being able to use these inner tools that can help navigate and work through their emotions in a healthy way, so that we can build a generation of mindful, healthy children that, turn into adolescents and then adults. So it's really quite a massive mission. We're trying to change the world, which we literally are trying to change the world. It's a big one. So we're thinking big here with what we're trying to achieve. Providing a safe place is definitely an important component to this as well, that Rumi Zone is a safe place for kids to be able to explore their birthright tools that they can tap into and use whenever they need to. Another key and very important vision and reason why we are doing this is providing educational opportunities to all learning styles. So my background is in art education. I went to school for art and art education. And I studied under this brilliant professor, Jennifer Childress, who changed my life and my viewpoints on everything. And this is something that really connects and ties in with understanding self-worth and being able to see our unique qualities, our inner power, the beauty within all of us that makes us different, and to be able to make that shine bright and to celebrate it. So there's a theory of multiple intelligences by Howard Gardner, which really changed my view on everything. Under this theory, Howard Gardner identifies 9 different types of intelligences and this is true of all children, adults. So public schools and a lot of private schools too only tend to focus on 2 types of intelligences, and this is through K through 12 education. So the 2 types of intelligences that are highly valued and really focused on at a public school level that kind of determines your success in many ways. It impacts your self-worth and how you feel in terms of your own intelligence, and makes you question your own intelligence if you're not naturally suited in these 2 areas. It's logic and linguistic. But there are 9 forms of intelligences as discovered by Howard Gardner. So these other forms of intelligences are spatial learners. These are children that tend to have natural abilities when it comes to art. They have the capacity to think in terms of pictures, images, understand compositions, and to be able to visualize things accurately and abstractly. So your artists are going to be natural artistic abilities, tend to have higher intelligences as spatial learners. There's bodily kinesthetic learners. So these are your athletes, but also your dancers that have this natural ability to, have rhythm and dance. You'll see toddlers that can bust a move on the dance floor without any issue. It's like a very natural thing for them to be able to dance and groove, and their form of intelligence is much higher in the kinesthetic realm. They're kinesthetic learners. There's musical intelligence. So those are our musicians, the ones that can pick up tunes and that can accurately hit those pitches, that can, go to town on a piano, that are our rock star musicians that have that natural ability, and really, once honed and focused on, they can really, really shine. And this is true of all of these intelligences. The kinesthetic learners, they have that natural ability to shine in that regard. That's what makes them brilliant and unique, and should not be ignored. It should be something that hopefully can be discovered and then nurtured. There's interpersonal intelligence. So this is our kiddos and adults that have high emotional intelligences, that can be able to determine and respond appropriately to moods and tune into how others are feeling, and being able to adapt to how they're feeling in a way that's really useful. That are our empaths, that are motivated by supporting and helping others, and that's what really fills their cups up with joy. They can detect the motivations and the desires of others and can work really well with that. So there are future therapists and politicians and activists and people that have the ability to really make a huge difference in the world, with their strength being in communication and their ability to help others. There's intrapersonal, which is the natural ability to be able to understand themselves, to really be able to dig deep, tune into their own feelings, their own emotions. So these are our yogis, and they're also healers because they have that unique capacity to understand your own self, go deep, understanding your own soul, and being able to understand some complex systems within ourselves that maybe others can't see and others have a hard time with, and then being able to teach that natural ability. So I think of our yogis when I think of intra and inter, but intrapersonal learners. There's naturalistic intelligence. These are our nature enthusiasts. They have a natural ability and just a love to be outside, outdoors, to be with wildlife, animal lovers, loving plants, natural healers in that regard, and have a huge love and fascination with the world outside. Those are naturalistic learners. And there's existential learners. So these are our deep souls. These are the Oprahs. These are the individuals that have this ability to understand a much deeper meaning of our lives, to think about and process human existence. These are our philosophers. What a cool form of intelligence that is. And then again, the two types that public schools really primarily focus on, which are absolutely important and should be valued, is verbal linguistic. People with high verbal linguistic intelligence tend to do really well in schools, especially in English, public speaking. They have high sensitivity to sounds and the rhythms and meaning of words. And then again, the logic, mathematical learners. These types of learners also tend to do really well in a public school setting due to their ability to discern logical and numerical patterns. They are strong in math and science, and that is a very highly valued form of intelligence, especially in the public school settings, in college settings. Same with linguistic learners. These are forms of intelligences that are highly valued. Now, under this theory, you can have a combo, like a mix of some of these. You might be very well versed and could have just strengths in all of these areas. You could be someone that has just phenomenal strengths in a couple of them and really, really shine and excel in ways that is pretty incredible, especially if it's recognized and realized and then fostered. Then you can really nurture it and really flourish and bloom in those areas. So it's not just like you have one type of intelligence. We often have several different types with our strengths and weaknesses, or we can be well-rounded and well-versed in all these areas. We are all different is really the important point here, is that we are all different, and the way that we take in information and the way that we learn and process information is also different. It's unique. So with public schooling, the problem is because it's so heavily focused on those two types of intelligences, there have been setbacks really in many ways, like the No Child Left Behind. That was something that was brought about by the Bush administration, but it had such an impact on education because it really made teachers have to focus on teaching to the test. And some of these tests, like these assessments that are assessing, essentially what it feels like for many is their intelligence, what they value and what they think of themselves in these standardized test forms, which is something that even the process of the test doesn't necessarily make sense to all learners. There could be a child that interprets the question and the multiple choice responses in a completely different way than another child does. That might be better suited for one child over another. So it's not providing equal opportunities to education. And I think the problem here is that public schools are equating intelligence with those two types of intelligences. And therefore, if you're lacking in those areas, you're going to feel like you're not as intelligent, which can absolutely impact children's self-worth. They might not even go in a field or a direction that they were meant to go in. They might not even meet their potential because they feel down on themselves. They think that they're not intelligent because the schools are telling them that. Essentially, it's something that I think we really have to think about, is what constitutes an intelligent person? What is suitable education for how people think and process information? And if we're thinking of this from Howard Gardner's standpoint, from his theory of multiple intelligences, that intelligence is multifaceted and is unique to the learner. So at Rumi Zone, what we're trying to do is celebrate all learners and trying to introduce education and educational activities that hit across all forms of intelligences. We teach wholesome values to really doing what's right in terms of recycling, in terms of doing our part and our share in helping and taking care of the planet, because that's immensely important, and it's something that we are definitely focusing on. And I have below our videos that kind of show these different areas. I have links to all of the videos and challenges and some of the areas that we've shined that I think are good examples. Kind of reviews what I'm talking about here in terms of the theory of multiple intelligences. But yes, our goal is to get children to have fun doing our activities, provide them with emotional tools for resilience. Also for kids that have intelligences in some of the other areas that might be neglected by public schooling, for them to be able to see these new opportunities for them that they might really shine in and get excited about, so they can pump themselves up and feel that self-worth and then nurture it. So they maybe giving them some direction and guidance on where to go from there. They're really gonna have fun if that's their form of intelligence and we're introducing it to them and they're starting to pick it up on it. Whatever activity that they're doing that they're loving is probably something that they're really good at and something that they can nurture more. So this is all about having kids celebrate their own unique brilliance, their own intelligence, to be able to understand what they're good at and feel good about that, feel great about that. We want kids to feel good about themselves. So self-worth is really, really an important goal. Thank you.